Brothers and sisters, today the Holy Spirit gave me some insight into a scheme of Satan which is being used to create division and tension within the wider culture and even in the church. It is a strategy of generalizing, overgeneralizing with prejudice rather than using a case-by-case discernment. In the Black community and in the Asian community, emotions are so inflamed and passions are so fired up that we are unable, in many cases, in increasing numbers of cases, to resist the temptation for us to overgeneralize every case as being the same. Some cases seem to be a clear-cut case of police brutality or Asian hate, but other cases are not so clear. But because of our inflamed passions and the emotion that we are experiencing right now, all of us have to resist the temptation to overgeneralize and to throw every experience into the same bucket. Now, just so it's clear where I stand, it is unjust, it is despicable, it is inhumane for unarmed black people to be killed and over-policed, and it is despicable and unjust and inhumane for unarmed Asians, particularly older citizens who are vulnerable, to be attacked and killed as they work and travel and go about their normal day-to-day business. In the Christian worldview, to do that is to further deface the image of God in a person, and that puts the attacker under God's judgment and the laws of this country. My concern is that if this blind overgeneralization without discernment continues to become widespread in the church, it could really divide us. This is not what Jesus intends for his church, the community where his Spirit dwells. So what are we to do to avoid this in this time of intense conflict and prejudice and unrelenting, overwhelming pain? Well, the answer is found in Hebrews chapter 3 and verses 12 through 13, where Jewish believers under persecution were tempted to turn away from Christ and turn back to Judaism and to ritual worship. And so the writer of this letter to the Hebrews in verse 12 says, "See to it, brothers and sisters, that none of you has a sinful, unbelieving heart that turns away from the living God. But encourage one another daily, as long as it is called today, so that none of you may be hardened by sin's deceitfulness." So my encouragement to you, brothers and sisters, is to fix your thoughts on Jesus. And he will help you, by his Spirit dwelling within us, to resist the danger of overgeneralizing with prejudice rather than using case-by-case discernment given to us by the Holy Spirit. Consider these things, ponder on these things, and may God be glorified in our responses.